Hello, boys and girls. AEW Freak 1127 here, and looky what I can do. There it is. Hey, I can freely switch between things. The production value of my videos has risen by that much, but it's something. I sat down, I looked at OBS, and I was like, oh, there's other stuff you can do with this thing. So there's that. I hope you appreciate the twos of minutes that I put into figuring this out, switching between this and this. We're talking about sodas, as you could either tell from the title or from this Pepsi can on my screen. No, it is not because I want Pepsi. If I wanted a Pepsi, I would just drink this one right here. But I've been kind of wanting to talk about this for a while in video form, and I just haven't. I don't know why. I guess now I just have so much more time on my hands now that I'm kind of stuck in this village until I can figure out how to get back to where I feel more comfortable, which is the city. And much easier to find work there, much easier to just get along as an expat with other people who aren't quite as, well, we'll just stop right there. You can refer to some of my previous videos if you want to get an idea of what I've been dealing with for the past couple of years. But what I have definitely not been dealing with, great transition, is an overabundance of sugar or high fructose corn syrup in my sodas since I have moved here. And yes, I know, soda pop, Coke, whatever the hell you know it as. The US is such a big place and they call soda, I should call it pop because I'm from Michigan, but when I was growing up, I just didn't like how it sounded to my ears. And when I would watch TV, I would hear it called soda. And it's like, man, that makes a lot more sense. Soda, because, you know, in class we use this baking soda and it fizzed just like this stuff. So, soft drink is another one. A lot less sugar. And they use a different type of sweetener. There's no high fructose corn syrup. Well, there is in some things, but not in this stuff. Not in Pepsi, not in Coke, not in Dr. Pepper. Before I get into the analysis here, which isn't a whole lot, and for people who don't want to watch all that much, yeah, screw it. If you don't want to go through all the analysis, I'll just pull this document up for you. You can pause it, you can read it. Have you paused it? Have you read it? Cool. Okay, back to my face. So there aren't nearly as many sodas in Finland to choose from. You go, like when I was doing some research trying to find the nutritional facts, some websites had like lists. Just one beverage maker would have a list like this long, and only 2 or 3 of them could be found here in Finland natively. What you'll normally find here is Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, Jaffa, which is an orange soda, kind of like, God, why can't I do that with my fingers? Jaffa, which is just, it's an orange soda with orange bits floating around in it. Did I say Sprite? Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, Jaffa. You'll occasionally find a bottle of Dr. Pepper, but I have yet to find cans. And if you go to a bigger store like Verkkokauppa, you'll find some imported sodas and maybe some other sodas from around Europe. But generally speaking, those are the ones you'll find in the grocery store and at the restaurant that you're going to, or at the convenience store, for example. And you'll find all the zero varieties: Coke Zero, Sprite Zero, Pepsi Max. Mountain Dew is another one they have here. They do have Mountain Dew, but they don't have nearly as many varieties as Mountain Dew. They have Supernova, regular Mountain Dew, and then Diet Mountain Dew or Mountain Dew Max, whatever the hell it is. So there's not quite as much choice, which can only be a good thing. It really can. Because, well, I don't know if anybody's really told you this yet, but soda's not really all that good for you. It's not good for me. It's not good for you. It's not good for anybody. So to have less of it, less temptation, and a lot more options for carbonated drinks that aren't so sugary. Like they have a lot of different mineral waters, fortified mineral waters with different flavors. Really good stuff, I think, anyway. Something else about the sodas is some of them will come with a lower sugar form. So far, the only one that I have found, and I've been here almost 5 years. I've been in Finland, EU, for almost 5 years. The only one that I have found is Sprite. And it'll say on the bottle, vähemmän sokeria, or something like that, which means less sugar in Finnish. So they'll have like a lower sugar version of the drink, and then the full sugar version, and then Sprite Zero. They only do that with Sprite, at least as far as I have been able to tell. And they don't use the high fructose stuff here. They do not allow certain dyes, petroleum-based dyes, especially. They don't allow some other ingredient that I can't remember the name of, but they just banned it not all that long ago. There are different standards between the EU and the US, but it comes as no surprise that the standards are higher in the EU for food and drink than in the United States. And oh, by the way, while we go through this, if it looks weird to you that there's not the typical nutrition facts label on the back, well, they also label their nutrition fact labels a bit differently here. They go by increments of 100 grams if it's food, 100 milliliters if it's drink. They don't have like servings. Sometimes they'll have the serving bit, like on this can of Pepsi, for example. It'll tell you how much crap, like sugar, for example, is in this per 100 milliliters. And this is 330 milliliters. So you would take 7, multiply it by 3.3, and get your answer. But Americans ain't got time for that shit. They ain't got time to do all that math and all that fun stuff. I'll show you the kind of thing I'm talking about here. Yeah, it was up here. The EU, all packaged items, calorie counts are measured by 100 grams or milliliters. The metrics are the same, making it easy to compare the nutritional content of food items, chips versus crackers, for example. However, in the US, carefully researched portion sizes are meant to eliminate the need to do math at all. Eliminate the need to do math at all. Oh, I just got done drumming before I did this. I'm a bit sweaty, and for some reason I wore my hat. I personally, I don't mind it that they do it that way. I don't find it any... In fact, I kind of prefer it for the reason that I just read, rather than getting a label like this. You know, I much prefer something, for example, like this. Even though this is in Finnish, I know I'm not talking about the language. I'm talking about the way that they label their ingredients. So something else, like I said here, this is the United States version of Pepsi. You will not see high fructose corn syrup in any of these ingredient lists on the Finnish websites. And you will also find that the ingredient lists in general are a lot shorter. So without further ado, we will just start right here with the Pepsi. I have a can of it right here. In America, if you are drinking a can of Pepsi, and I'm going to use cans because that's another thing about soft drinks here. They do have a lot of bottled soft drinks and, sparkling waters and things like that, but there seem to be, especially if you're ordering food from like Wolt, it seems like a lot more places are using cans. Maybe that's changing, I don't know, but I think they're just trying to cut down on plastic waste. So this is 330 milliliters, so you're already getting a little bit less soda per serving than in the US, where it's anywhere from 355 to 360 milliliters, or 12 fluid ounces in the wonderful, lovely imperial system that I wish, imperial system that I wish I could just have units of metric in my head and flush out all the miles and fluid ounces, and it's so stupid. Get with the 21st century, US, if you could. That would be lovely. But then again, there are a lot of places here in Finland that are not quite with the 21st century either. So who am I to judge? Now, we'll go over to this Pepsi. This Pepsi here has 7 grams of sugar per 100 milliliters of soda. So I did the math for you already if you don't feel like it. 41 grams in the US, 23.1 grams in Finland. Not quite half. Kind of sort of close. But that it is a quite noticeable difference. And if you're wondering about the flavor, I never really had a whole lot of issue with the flavors of the sodas here. In fact, I think for example, Pepsi tastes a lot better in this form with real sugar, with less of it, and maybe even without some of the crap that they use to like do they use caramel color here? I don't think they do. I do prefer this, and I have imbibed billions of liters of soda in my day. I'm trying to imbibe a lot more. A lot less. My head is still fucky, okay? I have brain fog. Give me a break. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. It tastes fine. If you don't like the max and zero versions of soda, just because there's less sugar in these drinks doesn't mean that they taste like the max or the diet versions. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different, and different ain't always bad. So moving right along to Mountain Dew, if you didn't already see from the list that I made, Mountain Dew will have 46 grams of sugar and all of these ingredients and dyes and stuff. You can read for yourself whether or not like petroleum-based dyes, high fructose corn syrup. I'm not here to tell you, because I don't know concretely myself if, like, for example, high fructose corn syrup is worse for you than sugar. I know why they use high fructose corn syrup in the US. I believe it has something to do with the government subsidizing corn growth because we sold a shitload of it to the Soviets in the early 70s, and farmers had incentive to grow, and so they did. And it's like, hey, we can make this stuff a lot cheaper and it tastes almost the same. Who's gonna notice the difference? They noticed when they came out with New Coke. And here's Mountain Dew from jolly old Finland, EU area. You got 7.1 grams of sugar per 100 milliliters. Again, I have already done that out for you. 23.4 grams compared to the US, where you'll find 46 grams. Again, in fact, this is damn near, that is almost exactly half of the sugar that you'll get. Now, I know, there's 30 milliliters less, but does it really add up to a hill of beans when you have that drastic of a sugar dip? Yeah, I mean, it's your opinion, man. Dr. Pepper, Dr. Poop. You almost never find Dr. Poop here in cans. I have never seen a can of Dr. Pepper here, ever. But as you'll see here, it has 39 grams. 39 grams of sugar compared to, hey, what happened? There it is. Compared to 6.8 grams of sugar per 100 milliliters. Go into the document. It's 39 grams in the US versus 22.4. So you get the idea. Do I really need to go through all of these? Probably not. So I'll just go back to this document and show you Sprite, 38 grams in the US, 26.4 in Finland. Coke, with a bunch of twos. Coke is a little bit different. I think, I don't know why the sugar content is almost the same when nearly every other soda has way less. Way less. In fact, the only reason I think this one does show up is indeed because there's 30 milliliters less. Maybe they attempted to market some kind of lower sugar version of Coke and people just didn't like it, so they stuck with the original formula, which meant the same amount of sweetener. I don't know, but I noticed it on this old can of Coke that I had. I was like, hey, this doesn't look any less sugary than the cans that I had back in the States. So, and for shits and grins, I did Fanta. They do have a soda here called Jaffa, which is another orange soda. And I know Fanta's got like a bunch of different flavors, but using orange Fanta as a reference, you see 43 grams of sugar here versus Fanta. Jesus. Versus Fanta here, 7.2. Again, I did all of the stuff and I even added Jaffa's sugar content. Fanta has almost half of the sugar here than it does in the US. I put some notes down here as well, and I guess this is something worth talking about. A lot of fast food meals come with 250 milliliter cans or bottles. That is worth mentioning because I'm kind of used to those, especially during the pandemic when I was ordering food more often. The option was way smaller than this, even 250 milliliters, a little bit narrower of a can typically. And you drink 250 milliliter cans, or, you know, out here in the country, they don't really have a lot of those. They have, you know, mostly these because there's a lot of Americanized shit out here. Again, may I just state that for anybody here in the bowels of rural Finland to make fun of me for being an American when like everything here is just so fucking Americanized, except no, I won't go much further than that because we're not talking about that, but it's just so strange to me. Just another example. You won't find a whole lot of those tiny cans here, but you'll find the bigger ones everywhere. But that's something that they do to try to get you to drink less. I don't care. That's fine by me. And again, the Sprite thing is really weird. I haven't found any other example of that. Granted, there are a lot less sodas here to choose from. But I think part of that is because everything has a zero or a max variety. And they push those a lot too. In advertisements, when they advertise Burger King, when they advertise McDorks, what else do they have here? Burger King, Taco Bell, those are like the four major. And Hesburger, which sucks. It does. It really does. They will advertise on the picture the diet or zero sugar variety of the soda next to all of the delicious looking food that's been glued together to look so great. And of course, I already went over the sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup thing. All in all, it wasn't that big of an adjustment. In fact, it was so slight that I had to put forth some effort. It wasn't like the first time I took a sip of a soda here, I was like, whoa, that is way less sweet. If you drink it about as quickly as I do, which is within about 10 minutes, you're not really going to notice. You may notice in the aftertaste a little bit, but I think that only good things can come out of putting less sugar in things. I think they even tax sugary drinks here, which I also think if they're gonna tax other stuff for being dangerous and not so good for you, like alcohol and tobacco, marijuana, which they don't, it's not legal here and probably never fucking will be, because we would just rather get drunk and trash our livers than, and stuff our mouths full of painkillers than let people have some natural healing. Oh, that's just another tangent. I am just full of tangents. Anyway, I think I'll end the presentation here. I don't have any big revelations. I don't have any, I don't have a monologue or whatever for you. I just wanted to show you that there is, in fact, in some cases, pretty big difference in the sugar content and also the way that they sweeten things. I guess the only way to really know for yourself is to actually go to Europe and try one of these. If anybody wants this, I can, ship it to them across the pond. It might take quite some time and it might, be rather flat once it gets to you. I don't even know if it's legal. There's so much red tape and bureaucracy and shit like that. Who knows? They might have some kind of rule on shipping a can of soda to somebody. They probably got a rule for shipping a golf ball or a paper clip. Do I have anything else to add? I don't think so. I hope this has been informative for you. If you stuck around long enough because of all of my tangents and whatnot, because I am prone to that. I'll probably make a lot more videos going forward. You've already been able to tell that I've been making more videos if you just go through and look through my channel. But no problems, no complaints, just showing you. A lot of these are almost half the amount of, and of course, the health differences between sugar, cane sugar, and high fructose corn syrup. Do your own research. I haven't read into it all that much myself. I just know that there is a flavor difference. When you drink enough soda here and you have enough things with actual sugar in them here, and you go back to the US like I did this past summer and taste a soda, it almost tastes kind of chemical. Like you can taste some of the aromatics, or the chemicals. I don't know how else to explain it. It just tastes less like a drink in the US and more like an amalgam of corn syrup and some flavoring and then like a really weird sort of aftertaste. And of course, if you have experience with this, if you went abroad, for example, and went back to the States and did your own comparisons, I'd like to hear about it in the comments, of course. And anything that I may have missed here or anything that I may have gotten wrong. I don't think my math is wrong on any of this. Again, it's just simple multiplication. Even an idiot like me can figure it out. No, I'm not an idiot, just mathematically. Have a good day, folks. Oh, and go Phillies. I really, 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 really hope you come back and beat the shit out of the Houston Astros. That's all. Have a good day.